Assalamualaikum and very good morning to everyone. My name is Shahrizatu Shazuna binti Alimuddin and my ID number is 2024-0101-0169. Today I want to present the topic that my group taken is impact of inflation on GDP growth in Malaysia economy. In general, inflation means a continual rise in the level of prices. General price means a price that reflects the price level for all goods and services available in an economy at a certain time. This effect of inflation has affected GDP growth in Malaysia and can have a negative impact on the economy. This problem is particularly noticeable when it comes to tax like GST and SST. Inflation, as we know, it increase the price of goods is forced consumers to make wise choice before making purchase. Because of that, this inflation problem has had a bad effect on some business. Second slide is 2.0 literature review. In 2.0, have 2.1 is body of research and academy. Dato' Abdul Rashid Ghaffur as Governor of Bank Negara Malaysia is BNM say Malaysia must be careful with inflation because inflation is rising higher than usual. Discuss high inflation that will affect purchasing power and make the value of the country currency low in the coming year. As you can see at the graph, percent for this year is 4.2%. So next is 2.2. Inflation factor and how to overcome. Inflation occurs when the total demand exceeds the supply of goods at current price. Inflation will also appear if demand increase but goods and services do not increase along with the increase in demand. Therefore, it forces consumers to buy the goods for fear of price increase. This is inflation is known as demand pull inflation. Inflation also occurs due to wanting to increase purchase beyond the increase in goods and service offered. In this case, it is said that the increase in aggregate demand pulls the price up so that it rises high. This is due to excess money held by consumer, which causes them to increase spending goods and service. However, it is quite difficult to add goods and service in time which is fast. Then there is excess demand that forces the price to increase. Last but not least, the government has taken several protective measures to deal with the issue of inflation and the impact on the price of basic necessities that has hit this country, said Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli, which has been happening since COVID-19 hit our country. The government important legislation reaches is to maintain electricity traffic for domestic, commercial and industry consumer met on the realization that the increase without support program and other assistance will have an impact on the operating cost of producer, which ultimately has an impact on the price of consumer goods.
Hello, my name is Alan Abdullahi Jamal. So I'm gonna start my presentation. My point is analyze inflation and growth. They study finds short-term and negative, long-term positive relationship between inflation and GDP growth in Malaysia. Predictional influence. Inflation and GDP growth affect each other without a clear cause effect direction, complicate policy decision. COVID-19 impacts Malaysia. Malaysian general low inflation was disrupted by COVID-19, highlighting the need for careful long-term economic plan. Overview. Inflation and GDP growth in Malaysia have complex relationship. Example, think of think of it like a seesaw. When inflation rise, grow, it will grow in a short time, but can be increased over the long time. Short term FC long term effect. In a short term, higher inflation tends to slow down growth, but in the in the long run, it can be both economic output. Example: imagine running too much speed uh, at the start, but be tiring, time out, short time slow down, but pricing correctly helping them finishing strong. COVID-19 impact. The pandemic disrupted Malaysian general stable inflation, showing the need for careful economic plan. Example: COVID-19 was like a sudden storm, unexpected and disruptive, requiring new strategic to stay on a course. Policy inflection. Policymakers need to balance inflation control with the economic growth. Example: it's like jungling. If you are focusing too much on a ball inflation, you may be draw of other goal. So I'm gonna add one question or three question. How does relationship between inflation and GDP growth change over time in Malaysia? How? So in a short time, higher inflation is associated with the slower GDP growth. However, in the long term, higher inflation can lead to increased economic output as it may be employment, investment, and productive. What the impact did COVID-19 have on Malaysian inflation and GDP growth? COVID-19 disrupted Malaysian general low inflation and highlight the need for careful long-term economic planning. The pandemic created uncertainty and challenged both GDP growth and inflation stability. Thank you for watching.
Hello everyone, this is Islam Amir. My student ID is 2024 01010 225, and now I'll be presenting the findings and discussions. First, we have stationarity and co-integration. This article showed that both GDP and inflation are stable over time and have a long-term relationship. The results were statistically sophisticated, meaning we can confidently say they are not randoms. Second, we have short-term relationship, which is known as VECM. In the short term, inflation negatively affects economic growth. However, the error correction term wasn't significant, suggesting this relationship can vary. And the third point, which is my camera is kind of covering, is impact of lagged variables, as known as VAR. Last year's inflation tends to reduce GDP growth. Economic growth from the previous year positively influence GDP, and this affects the quite strong. This effect is quite strong. Both past GPT growth and inflation have a positive but not significant impact on current inflation. Then we have long run causality. There is a potential long term effect where economic growth leads to higher inflation. This is supported by the conversion and correlations data. And about the ginger casualty test. Surprisingly, there was no strong evidence that inflation and GDP growth predict each other. Predict each other. And last but not least, we have policy inflections. Policymakers should focus on controlling inflation to maintain short term economic stability. In the long run, a bit inflation might actually be beneficial for growth. And that's it all from me.
Hi, my name is Nur Arina binti Rosman and my student ID is 2023 100 101 and 01, and I will explaining to you my part, which is the recommendation. So as you can see here, the first one is the high diversity of stocks. By that, it can encourage lower returns than a normal portfolio. So from that, it can be encouraged by improve the technology of the company. So such as the company improve the technology that they had at their company, like the process of the making of the product. So it can be produce a better product from before than before. So for the second is it can be promoting government and agencies about investing. Government and agency can promote investing for encourage the investment for our companies like manufacturing and services. So it can be improve the produce of our company. So it can be the one of the initiative to grow up the business in our industry. So by the improvement that we make, it can be the global impact of the company. So the third is an investment strategy and stock selection. By making a improvement in the company, it can be a good industry portfolio. So next is online transaction and services. By the online transaction and services, it can develop of new ways in industry, because people nowadays are famous from online transaction rather than physical transaction. So by this, the company can change the promoting of the product or the promote of the produce of product. So by this new ways of promoting in industry, it can change customer or consumer preference. So for the last one is the fixed deposit return. So by the fixed deposit return, the industry can recovery strategies so that means the company can change the strategy in their promote of product, so it can gain a new or can improve their consumer or customer to buy their product. So the last one is by the fixed deposit return, it can be a cooperative understanding towards lowest risk investment. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Nur Izati binti Hasni and my student ID 202310010100. I would like to talk about completion. In conclusion, inflation will result in an increase in the national economy. Inflation also shows a decrease in the purchasing power of money, which is a loss of real value, the internal medium of exchange. Besides that, there are two effects on this inflation, which are positive effect and also negative effect. The negative impact on inflation is the value of the currency falling and the lack of investment in the sector. Next is positive effect that occur when inflation occurs. For the negative effect, this is because some traders have hidden goods that are likely to be priced higher than before inflation. For the example, they hide subsidy items such as flour, oil in packets, and also rice. And for positive impact, the central bank ensure that interest rates are adjusted appropriately during inflation. The positive impact can attract the investor to invest in a country for increase the economy in that country. In addition, inflation control needs to be carried out by the financial authorities. This is because financial policy is carried out by a related financial agency. The central bank also controls the amount of currency through the interest rate and open market operation. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Wang Xinrui. In today's report, I will introduce our reference section. We used 232 articles in our research, which cover key knowledge points of inflation and economy. This part is an important part of ensuring the reliability and accuracy of our report. These articles are in APA format, and we ensure that all references are carefully screened to support the data and conclusions in our report. Thank you for watching. The report is finished. We are Group 8. Thank you.